Lurking in the shadow of the late Internal Security Minister Professor George Saitoti was Joshua Tonkei, a man tasked with putting his life on the line for his boss. 10th June 2012, and Tonkei would suffer the same fate as his boss.
Amefanya na Professor Saitoti miaka 21.
And now, a year on, the nation has seemingly forgotten. A close-knit family remembers a man who the country knew as a long-serving bodyguard to the late Professor George Saitoti. It is an intimate memorial service in their Nairobi home to celebrate and honor a man who was to them a husband and a father.
Nishike mkono Bwana, nishike mkono. Bado tunahuzunika maana amewacha pengo kubwa. Hadi mbinguni, hadi mbinguni Bwana.
I miss the companionship. I miss the jokes. The kind of friend, the friend I had, it's not easy. And of course, the father of my children. This was a very loving man, Sally. Let me tell you, it is the kind of man any woman would want to have. He was very kind, very loving, and a best friend. In fact, I used to call him Olchore in Masai, meaning friend. We had 4 children together. We also had 3 other children he adopted when the brother passed on.
He was someone who would come to the house and then you'll think that you'll stretch your hand to say hi to him. He pulls you out of the seat and then he taps you at the back and then says, "Hey young man, how was your day? Did you go to school today? What good thing did you do today?"
It's because of him that I will be the man I will be in future.
Jamii mzima tulimjua kama rafiki. Alikuwa mcheshi sana, mtu mwenye furaha, tena mwenye huruma nyingi sana.
What also makes for conversation between us is how, while Tonkei, the father of 7 children, was hailed for his dedicated service by the police force, it has since counted for nothing. After the 21-gun salute signifying the final respects paid to Tonkei, government officials forgot about his family.
When they just do the burial, that's public relation, period. Nobody cares that you exist. Nobody cares that those children need to go to school. And yet you realize, Sally, that when a senior person dies, I'm sorry to say this, there is a fund that caters for their children. And yet a poor police officer just dies and nobody is concerned. It's the fellow police officers who feel, and they're the ones who contribute for these children to continue learning with the little salaries they have. I think it's a high time the government establish a fund for the police officers who die in line of duty so that their children go to school.
It is telling that a year on, the first visit by a public official to her home is by Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko on the anniversary of her husband's death, and even his presence here was not a government mission.
Yeye mwenyewe sikumuita na hata sikujua kwamba anaweza fikiria kitu kama hilo.
Mlinzi wa VIP, mlinzi wa mwanasiasa ni mtu wa muhimu sana kwa maisha ya mtu. Sisi kama viongozi tunasahau haya mambo kwa haraka kwa sababu hata mlinzi alikuwa mfanyikazi wa serikali, alikuwa afisa wa polisi. Kwa hivyo kama serikali na ningeomba tusaidie.
As Kenya remembers a year on the fall of gallant soldiers, there is a greater call that it remembers the families they left behind. The Nairobi senator offered to pay for the education of Tonkei's 5 children for the next term.
The government has not come in to tell us really what happened, what was the cause of the accident. So we were just reading from the newspapers like anybody else.
This as the man, the work and the ideals of Joshua Orwa Ojode, the late Internal Security Assistant Minister, are remembered, and rightly so, in his Ndiwa home on this day, allowing his family to remember his memory.
I think it's still like a dream.
But she's money.
she's a strong person, and you know, we have progressed. Everything that was going on before my father died is still progressing. So I attribute that to having a wise mother.
The family of the late Captain Nancy Gitwanja celebrated the life she lived during a memorial service in Kiru village, Kandara, Sunday afternoon. The late Professor George Saitoti's memorial is scheduled for Saturday. Salim Bilu, Citizen Live at 9.